Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about this earthquake that happened in Japan yesterday. It was a magnitude 6.4 and it didn't cause as much damage or destruction as the one that happened on January 1st, but it was still pretty big, and I'm going to talk about it because it is connected to the Bible. Just there's no way that there wasn't going to be an earthquake on this day, and I'm going to just reverse engineer everything and show you how I know that. And it's also going to be connected to the Fukushima nuclear disaster that was triggered by an earthquake. It even references it in the article here. So on March 11, 2011, the North Coast was struck by a magnitude 9 earthquake, the strongest in Japan on record, and a massive tsunami. Those events triggered the world's worst nuclear crisis since Chernobyl. So let me just show you how this earthquake that happened yesterday is so connected to the Bible. It's insane. So Revelation 6:12. If you are newer to my channel, I talk about Revelation 6:12 almost all the time. It's like pretty much the basis of all of my decoding. And Revelation 6:12, well, the relationship between Revelation 6:12 and Revelation 8:11, we can get into that later, but yeah, I talk about these two verses a lot. So I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. That's the most important part right now. So this is the 108th verse of Revelation, and as you can see, the earthquake, it happened on the 108th day of the year. That's already pretty telling, but not really enough to prove anything, but it was basically my starting point. So again, we looked at the date of Fukushima, the Fukushima nuclear disaster earthquake. That was March 11, 2011. From this earthquake to the Japan earthquake is 37 years, or 13 years and 37 days. And the 13 is the 6th prime number, 37 is the 12th prime number, like 6:12, Revelation 6:12. But the reason why that is, like, that's already crazy. Like, you know, when I saw that, I was already just mind blown. But what makes that so much more biblical is that this earthquake, this event, is completely tied to the Bible, even more. So I've showed this before, but this is yeah, I guess like a review, whatever. So the 612th prime number is 4,513, and when you convert this number into this date here, 4513, from Fukushima, just referenced as Fukushima, to 4513, basically it happened exactly 108 weeks on the nose before 4513, which again, Revelation 6:12 is the 108th verse of Revelation. So for this event, this huge historic event with this huge earthquake happening that much time before this date, that represents the 612th prime number, with Revelation 6:12 being about the great earthquake, is absolutely impossible to, like, it's impossible for that to be a coincidence, but it's also impossible for that to not be a huge deal. Like I feel like this is easy to take lightly, but this is basically proof. Like just this event is proof that this was connected to the Bible, and that the Bible is like alive. And so when you think about the earthquake that happened yesterday connecting to this Fukushima event, 13 years, 37 days after Fukushima, and 13 is a 6th prime number, 37 is a 12th prime number. Like if there was any way to prove that the Bible is real, and I know I've had people like say in the comments like, oh, like the Bible was numbered in, you know, the 1500s, and like, or like our calendar is now like 12 months instead of 13, how it used to be. And like, yeah, I'm like, I understand all that, you know, I'm not debating any of that, but there is obviously like, there's a purpose behind why the Bible was numbered, verses were numbered, I mean, and why the calendar was changed. And it has to do with like these all go hand in hand, and like there's no way that these things are separate at all. They're absolutely not. And so just to take this even further, Revelation 6:12 is the 30,806th verse of the whole Bible. And when you convert this number into this date right here, 386 March 8th, 2006. See how it matches. From that date to the earthquake yesterday is exactly 945 weeks. And when you look at the time of 9:45 on the clock, it's 9:45 a.m. is 585 minutes into the day. And that connects to earthquakes because another number that I talk about a lot that I've learned from Casey Jones Astrology and the channel 7711, that the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. And this code is used a lot, and you're going to see it in it's just the next slide is going to corroborate this here. Like, this is big, like 945 weeks exactly from the date that represents the verse of Revelation 6:12, like where it stands in the whole Bible, to the Japanese earthquake is exactly 945 weeks. 9:45 a.m. is 585 minutes into the day, and the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. That is insane. So the corroboration is this next, the slide after this, but this is a prerequisite for that. So the gematria value of Revelation 6:12 in reduction, and this is when you include like Revelation 6:12, that phrase before the verse, so all of it together, it equals 593. And Revelation 6:12 is double coded to, or 593 is double coded to this verse because for one, 593 is the 108th prime number, like how Revelation 6:12 is the 108th verse of Revelation. So it happens to also equal 593 in gematria, so that's the 593 is hugely coded, or it's totally tied to that verse. So here it is, Revelation 6:12, reiterating it equals 593, and also it's the 108th verse of Revelation, and the 108th prime number is 593. And the study of earthquakes, we just looked at, began in 585 BC. So, oh sorry, the kicker is the next slide, my bad, it's the next slide. So just, this is more of the prerequisite. So again, for like the three main earthquake numbers, 612, the 612 prime number is 4,513. The 593rd prime number is 4,339, and the 585th prime number is 4,261. So when you add these three numbers together, 4, 5, 13 plus, or basically when you add the primes of these three earthquake numbers, you get 13,113. and then you convert that into this date, 13113, just like 13113. So this was, if you saw some of my recent earthquake videos, this is like a code that I've been I experimented with it at first, but now I'm like seeing it all over the place, and I believe that this is totally in play. And I'm pretty sure I'm not I don't think I came up with this or anything, but yeah, this is you're gonna be seeing this a lot more in my earthquake codes, so just look out for that. But when you go from this date, 13113, to the Japan earthquake is exactly 585 weeks. So that is impossible for there just coincidentally be an earthquake 585 weeks exactly after this date that matches. This number has everything to do with the Bible, because like I said, it's the verse number, Revelation 6:12, and its prime number, the gematria value of that verse and its prime number, and the study of earthquakes and its prime number. You add that up and you convert it into this date, and it happens to be 585 weeks exactly. After that it just especially after the connection to the Fukushima earthquake, it's I think that just reveals a lot about this earthquake and how connected it is. And considering how connected you've seen that it is thus far, it shows that because this wasn't really a big deal. At least it's not really trending too much, or thankfully it didn't cause a lot of damage, and I don't think any deaths. But I think it shows that they're all, you can't take any of them lightly, it seems like even the one that happened, I didn't see anyone really mention the earthquake that happened on the day of the eclipse. That was a 5.1, but that was connected to the Bible too. And I say that only to make the point that it doesn't have to be just the big events that are connected to the Bible. It seems like it's even ones moderate ones like this too. But my whole goal just is to show how real the Bible is. That's what I'm really trying to do. And I don't think there's any way to after the based on this event, there's no way to prove that otherwise, so what's interesting about 585 weeks, and it shows a lot about how the calendar is designed to make 585 weeks, because this is the same time span. It equals 11 years and 78 days, and 1178 equals 585 plus 593. So again, those are the two earthquake numbers that 593 is the ordinal value of Revelation 6:12, and 585 is when the study of earthquakes began. So 585 plus 593 equals 1178, and it was 11 years 78 days from this big earthquake code here to the Japan earthquake that just happened, which equals 585 weeks. Yeah, here it is again. Study of earthquakes began 585 BC from Talls of Miletus, and the gematria value of Revelation 6:12 is 593. So the date of the Fukushima earthquake, just the date itself, that I'm just going to show how that is tied to the Bible. Like it just shows that it just happened at like the perfect time, or on the perfect day. But this is the format that most of the world would write that date. So both of them matter. They both matter. But yeah, most of the world does write the date as the 11th of March 2011. So 11/3/11. And 11,311 is the 1,367th prime number. So looking at this, the like 1, 3, 6, 7, just each of those digits individually. That's the first prime is 2, the third prime is 5, the sixth prime is 13, and the seventh prime is 17. So 2, 5, 13, 17, that is the prime factorization of 2210, and 2210 is the reverse value of Revelation 6:12, the whole verse. That's without the phrase in the beginning, because the first time, as you can see, we have Revelation 6:12 included, and then without it included, but still the whole verse, it's 2210 in reverse. So the date, just the date itself of Fukushima, was tied to the Bible, like from the beginning and before the event even happened. And yeah, so even if like the fact that the earthquake yesterday had the connection to this date, with Revelation 6:12 and all that, it would have already had that connection. But so I bring this up to show how much stronger the connection is. Like I don't know, like I get lost. I'm at a loss of words a lot of the time with these findings, but yeah, I'm just trying to emphasize like how, I guess, groundbreaking the connection is as a whole. You know, like moving on with the 2210. Revelation 6:12, the reverse value of that verse is 2:10, like, you know, we just looked at. And when you convert that into the date 2/2/10, February 2nd of this year, it's 1910. So not 2010, but 1910. So it still equates to 2/2/10. To the earthquake is 5959 weeks exactly. So exactly. And the sum of divisors of 5959 is 6,120, 612. Revelation 6:12, great earthquake. So looking further into this, the date of Fukushima, just to just emphasize even more how wild this connection is. So 3, 11, 11, that's the second, fifth, and fifth prime numbers, like 255. And the prime factorization of the number 255 is 3 times 5 times 17. So when you convert that into this date, 3517, to the Japan earthquake is 2,601 days, like 261. So looking at 261, the prime factorization of 261 is 3 times 3 times 29, and that is the second and 10th prime numbers. Get you back to 2:2:10. Revelation 6:12 equals 2:2:10. So super coded. So that, up to now, I think that was like, I was just gonna end the video there. And this part right here, this is pretty fancy, I'm not gonna lie, But yeah, I mean, you can evaluate it how you want to, whether you think like this is valid or not. But I personally believe it is. I'm gonna just come out and say that. But yeah, just follow along. I think it just enhances the connection even more. So 612, remember the 6 prime number is 13 and the 12 prime number is 37, like how the Fukushima nuclear disaster was 13 years 37 days before the earthquake yesterday. So 13 and 37, that's a prime factorization of 481, and the 481st prime number is 3433. And 3433, like with basically 481 and this number right here, 3666, they basically share like like their prime numbers are like related, because the 3666 prime number is 34,303, 3433, 3433. I mean, I see that a lot in numerology anyways. You know, people, if it's like 503, then people will say 53. So in this case, the rules still apply. So when you go from this date 3666 to the earthquake is 21,227 days. And the 21,227th prime number is 24,047. But now looking at the 2447, 2,447 is the 363rd prime number. And 363, the prime factorization is 3 times 11 times 11. And that represents the date of the Fukushima nuclear disaster, 3/11/11, March 11th, 2011. So that, like, I think that's totally valid. You know, like, you know, we're going from this date here. This date basically is taking the place for its prime number, which the prime number matches this number that connects to Revelation 6:12, because its prime factorization is the 6 and 6 prime numbers, or the 6 and 12 prime numbers. So let me just go again slow, or not as slow, but 6:12, Revelation 6:12. Prime factorization, or it's the 6 prime number is 13, the 12 prime number is 37, and 13 times 37 is the prime factorization of 481, and the 481st prime number is 3,433, and 34,303 is the 3,666 prime number, and from 3666 to the earthquake yesterday is 21,227 days, and the 21,227th prime number is 24,047, 2447, like 2447, which is the 363rd prime number, and the prime factorization of 363 is 3 times 11 times 11, and 3/11/11 is the date of the Fukushima nuclear disaster. So yeah, I mean, that's that. Again, you can evaluate that on how you want. I think like all like the other Fukushima connections in the beginning, I mean, I think those are strong enough to stand on their own, but like I think this just it enhances it to me. You know, it shows that like there's probably stronger, bigger connections beyond this. Like there's so many there's so many things I haven't looked into, and I'm sure like there's so much more. Like I truly believe that these connections just go so much farther than I can even imagine. But that's why I'm trying to push my limits, you know, because like once I find a connection, I can't accept the fact that, or the belief that once I find a connection that there's nothing past that. So it's like, how much farther, like I'm just so curious about the possibilities, you know. So okay, enough about that. So Revelation 6:12 again, great earthquake. The 612th prime number is 4,513. Again, we looked at that, but the 4,513th prime number, by the way, this is like a new thing. Like this was the end of that. So again, the 4,513th prime number is 43,223, and 43 is the 14th prime number. 223 is the 48th prime number. And when you put those numbers back together, like 1448, the 1,448th prime number is 12,101. So I converted to this date, 12101, 12101, January 21st, 01. And when you go from that date to the Japan earthquake yesterday, it's 23 years, 87 days. The 2,387th prime number is 21,227. Remember, we looked at that number? And remember, 21,227 is the 21,227th prime number is 24,047. 2447, again 2447 is the 363rd prime number. 3 times 11 times 11, Fukushima nuclear disaster, date March 11th, 2011. So we're gonna take the 363 being the number that connects to Fukushima. The prime factorization, 3 times 11 times 11 equals 363, and Fukushima was on 3/11/11, and we're gonna add its prime. 363 plus 2,447, it equals 2,810, and 2,810 to 2810 to the Japan earthquake, it's 14 years, 69 days. And 1469, the prime factorization is 13 times 113. That is the code that I showed you guys in the beginning, 13113. That's when you get when you take the earthquake numbers, the 612 prime number, the 593rd prime number, the 585th prime number, add them together, and you get 13113, just like 13113. So 14 years, 69 days from this date, that represents 363 plus 2447. And again, 363 is extremely tied to Fukushima because the prime factorization of 363 is 3 times 11 times 11, and Fukushima was on 3/11/11. So that's it for this. And again, there's a lot more. I didn't want to make it as long as my other videos. I'm trying to cut my videos down just to make them more digestible. And I know like some things got like way super technical like towards the end. But I would say like up to this point, or I think like the main thing, like if I would hope that if there's anything, the number one thing that you could take from this would just be like the beginning, that like again, since this is the 108th verse, it happened on the 108th day. and it was 13 years, 37 days from the Fukushima nuclear disaster, and 13 is the 6 prime, 37 is the 12 prime, and just like for it to connect to that date with 612 is just so insane, because that date, the connection between that date and 612, because the 612 prime numbers 4 5 13, and when you convert that into this date 4 5 13, the Fukushima earthquake was 108 weeks exactly before 4 5 13. And again, Revelation 6:12 is the 108th verse of Revelation. So that just, I think I could have just made a video just on that. Maybe I should have, maybe not, I don't know. But I just had so much more I really wanted to add on to this, and I was trying to keep it all I guess cohesive, like around Fukushima and Revelation 6:12. Yeah, I mean, the technical stuff at the end, I'm sure maybe it might there might be mixed reviews about that, and that's fine. But I'm just trying to be open-minded, and I'm trying to not be afraid of taking chances, I guess. So I'm putting myself out there and taking the chance of being like my work being seen as a reach, I guess, like, because some people might not see it like that, but yeah, like that's kind of my mindset, you know. I'm trying to push myself, and I'm trying to just never really settle for just like a limit of like where I could really stop, in terms of like making a connection. I'm just rambling at this point. I think you guys don't want to hear it, but anyways, thank you guys for watching this if you watched the whole way through, and I hope this got the point across that like this is so connected to the Bible, and the Bible is alive. It's not nothing, it's not meaningless, and I think that these things show that the Bible is more like alive in ways that like I just religion doesn't really show, because yeah, I mean, you're not gonna see this at church, but I mean, I think this is one of those things where like if somebody was really humble and they like didn't have pride and they saw this, they would not be able to deny that the Bible is legit. So that's it. Yeah, let me know what you think down below. That's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.